May I request all of you to please be seated? Thank you. Welcome you all to day 2 of Umagine Tamil Nadu 2025, where we inform, inspire, and innovate. Accelerating Tamil Nadu's tech progression is not just a theme. It's a reinforcement for tech organizations to pay attention to Tamil Nadu's thriving ecosystem. At Umagine Tamil Nadu, we are committed to propelling growth through the adoption of compelling strategies for startup, harnessing the power of emerging technologies for productivity, fostering innovation for e-governance, and leveraging geomatics for sustainability. Umagine Tamil Nadu stands as an evolving platform propelling Tamil Nadu towards its $1 trillion dream. Thank you for joining us in shaping the future of technology, entrepreneurship, and talent mobility, contributing to the global wave of innovation. Today, we begin with a panel discussion on cities, suburbs, and satellite towns as engines of growth, how technology is enabling and accelerating the economies. First, I would like to call upon our first panelist for today, Mr. Ravanan N., Executive Director at Daily Hunt, CEO, One India. Can we all give a huge round of applause as we welcome him on the stage, please? An astute thought leader with 23 years of experience in managing teams across content, sales and business development, product development, and operation management across leading telecom operations in India, experience in having excelled in startup conditions and successfully scaling businesses from scratch, now heading content across the portfolio for India's largest vernacular platform and building the go-to content destination for Bharat. We welcome you, sir. Next, I would like to call upon Mr. Naveen Chandra, founder and CEO, 91 Film Studios. Please give a huge round of applause as we welcome him on the stage. He has over 30 years of leadership experience across films, TV, radio, print, and digital media in India and internationally. His studio focuses on producing, marketing, and distributing regional language feature films. Previously, he launched the Storyteller Funds, a SEBI registered AIF providing structured capital to the regional film industry. Naveen has produced and distributed films in various Indian languages and helped build renowned brands like Times of India, Radio Mirchi, and Ghana.com. We welcome you, sir. Next, I would like to call upon a moderator and speaker for today, Mr. Ish Sundaram, founder, CEO, Utpata Ventures. Can we all put our hands together and welcome him on the stage, please? Ish is the founder and CEO of Utpata Ventures, an early-stage venture fund and operating executive at Thaiwil Capital, a market private equity firm focused on industrial and technology portfolios. He served as the Executive Vice President and Chief Digital and Technology Officer of JetBlue Airways Corporation from 2012 until his retirement in February 2021. He was a founder of JetBlue Technology Ventures and served as a director on multiple public and private companies, including SolarWinds, Intelsat, and Vesco International. We welcome you, sir. Next, I would like to welcome Ms. Gayatri Tyagarajan, CEO of Kinhood Technologies. Gayatri Tyagarajan, CEO of Kinhood Technologies and founder of KYN, a neighborhood discovery and connectivity platform, has over 2 decades of versatile experience in financial services and technology firms in London, New York, Zurich, Singapore, and India. She has held senior positions in various verticals like business strategy and leadership, data, technology, operations, and finance. As a senior management professional, she's effectively partnered with C-suite leaders to define the vision and manage the execution of business strategy, leading to targeted, profitable outcomes. We welcome you, ma'am. Last but not the least, I would like to call upon Dr. Viveka Kalidasan. Can we all give a huge round of applause as we welcome her on the stage, please? Dr. Viveka Kalidasan is a visionary technopreneur recognized as one of MIT's 35 innovators under 35 and Singapore's top 100 women in technology. She is the founder and CEO of River Venture Studio, the world's first inclusive Industry 5.0 accelerator focused on sustainability and human-centric innovation. River Venture Studio helps Global Startup Cafe, offering pilot opportunities and fostering diversity in leadership. We welcome you, ma'am. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Vanakkam Chennai. Eppadi irukeenga ellarum? Did you all have fun yesterday? Who came here yesterday? Wow, that's amazing. Thanks for coming. Second day will be even better. I'm hoping for a lunch. I didn't have lunch yesterday. It was too busy, but today I'm hoping to have some good food. But thanks for coming. I know it's early morning for many of you, Friday morning. I am here for only one reason. I'm going to be very public about it. Gayatri says, you come, you come. That's it. Like, there is no other second choice. Thanks, Gayatri. We're very proud of what you do, with your team, and, had a great chance to interact with some of your team members. And before we jump in, we have an amazing set of panelists here. I was also thinking maybe இதை வந்து ஒரு panelக்கு பதிலா ஒரு பட்டிமன்றம் ஆக்கிடலாம்ட்டு, and I'm well seated in the middle too, right? So they can debate amongst themselves. So my job is easy, but I'm going to throw some good questions. What you're going to see in our panelists is not just visionaries and entrepreneurs and all those things, but they are really change agents. What they're all doing in different parts of their work, the community work they are involved in, is amazing and also a massive change to our society. I personally have seen some of the work Gayatri has done, and I got a chance to interact with Mr. Ravanan, and I was looking at your profile in the media. It's just inspiring to see that. So first of all, welcome. Thanks for joining us in the panel. The topic today is very interesting, right? How the world has changed, cities, suburbs, towns. I come from a very small town called Tuticorin. How many of you know Tuticorin? Gayatri, I know you come from Madurai, and Viveka, you come from Madurai, and we all come from small towns, right? We're not like the big city people, like speaking fancy English and going to Don Bosco and stuff like that. We grew up in small towns, but something helped us to be where we are today and open the doors for us. But if I fast forward today, 30 years since I left, Tuticorin and settled abroad, the world has completely changed. Technology has rapidly changed, especially post-pandemic. The influence the suburbs and small towns have had on people's lives, and how rapidly the world has changed around us, and you can work from home, and the digitization of these things, the local, the marketplaces that has evolved. I live in New York, Connecticut area for the last 30 years, and when I come to India, I feel like we are 30 years behind in US in many things that's happening. So it's like the cell phone. Naveen, you probably would appreciate this, and you were in telecommunication too, Mr. Ravanan. Cell phones was first invented in US. Now we are 30 years behind in cell phones, right? India has surpassed because you skipped a generation. When cell phones came into India, it was rapidly a different technology, and you move forward. Like that, I think the digitization, the local marketplaces are all like surpassing the globe, and it's the best time, most exciting time to hear from different leaders around us, their thoughts and what they're doing in the communities, that is going to change lives of every one of you sitting in here. So welcome, and let's start the panel. Gayatri, first question for you. You are a change agent. You're taking information to the hands of people at local marketplaces with your Kin app. What really inspired you to do that? You spent your life in investment banking. It's the craziest job to be in. You love data, I know that.
Yeah.
But why would you want to do this?
Yeah.
Why are you so passionate about getting that information in the hands of the local communities and impacting them? What changed your mind?
So there are 2-3 things that I actually, that drove me to this particular thing. So as you said, I'm a data person, so I actually look at, what we get. So if you look back, so many years back before internet actually came along, you had very little information that you actually had to synthesize. So in today's world, like I think in the audience, I can actually ask how many people are actually having social, everyone has a social, what is that? So the smartphones is what we actually have. So we get information from multiple sources that are actually there. So the velocity and the veracity or the variety of information, almost like, like each of us have become our own data lakes to actually get this information. So being technology people, you can all understand that, like unless you're able to actually synthesize that information, understand it, it is going to become very, very difficult. So for us, when I actually look at it, I also thought that, like we should be able to bring relevant information to people that is actually accessible to you. Now, outside the digital world, you want to actually survive in a community or an area that is actually there, which is of relevance or importance to you. And how is it that we can actually try and bring this to people is what we actually think. So whether it's entertainment, whether it's information that you're actually looking for, or whether it is, like how you do your time pass or anything like that, as long as it's actually relevant to you, then that means that, like you can bring in. So it's almost like a filter on trying to actually see how is it that we can bring this, and how is it that you can offer your services, because you're also a provider of information to multiple people. It can be your business, it can be your profile that you actually have, or your talent that you want to actually communicate, and it should reach the relevant people. And how is it that you're actually going to bring that? So relevance for me is the main driver to actually bring all of these pieces together. And that's the reason I actually thought, like I'll get into this space to make things very relevant to people.
You've had an amazing journey. Congratulations. I had a chance to, hear from your team, and most of your team members are here. Can you raise your hand here? You guys have to talk to them. They're one of the best, team I have spoken to. Very inspiring what they do. Viveka, you come from Singapore, my dream city. I always say the safest place on the planet is Singapore. Now Dubai is claiming a little bit of Singapore's fame. What have you learned from Singapore? The good and bad of Singapore, I know a lot of entrepreneurs, you interact with them, you inspire them, you work with them. What have you learned that you can bring back to India? And how do you see the relationship between your work in Singapore and India to kind of help us leap forward to the next chapter?
Yeah, thanks Ish, that's a very good question. I think one thing that we should definitely draw parallels with regards to Singapore is seeding entrepreneurship from a very early stage. From school children to universities, hackathons, innovation. I think a lot of you are here also that you participated in the hackathon. And also, it becomes a way of life, and government is also doing a lot of incentivization to this idea, and then what happens to the idea? You come up with some prototypes, and then what happens to the prototype? Nobody cares about it, right? And we as accelerators and incubators work with the universities, work with the students, and then try to productize it and bring it to the market. And I think with regards to what Kinhood is also doing, connecting directly with the students, that's where Gen Z, that's where the ideas are, and I think we all are enablers to make their idea into something, a product, So that's something that Singapore is doing, and I am very proud to say and see that Tamil Nadu government is also doing that. We are almost there. It's just that we are kind of on par, so we just need to walk hand in hand and take it to the next level, yeah.
Right. To the right of me is two of our top media professionals. The first thing that comes to my mind is Tirukkural. I love Tirukkural. I spend at least a little bit of time learning. And there is a Tirukkural which says, Epporul yarvai kepinum apporul meipporul kanbadu arivu, which is very powerful. There's a lot of stuff in the media, right? And you need to make sure that it's accurate. It's your responsibility to take what is available and you make it accurate. But the world of media has changed from throwing stuff to everyone to making it personalized. Ravnan, I would love to hear from you as how do you, the data availability is, billions of times better than what it was. And there is with AI and X and all these things, there's so much stuff around you today. How do you guys see that data and how do you distill that to make what is more relevant for the Ish and the Gayatri, because I have like 10 seconds to read something, right? And now if you think about the local communities and all those things, it's not like the front page matters to them. It's that specific information that matters to them is what is relevant. How do you see the world moving with technology and the local communities?
It's interesting you brought this question because the very rockbed of Daily Hunt, the mobile aggregation app, is how do we leverage technology and personalize content, right? And personalization is not an easy task. I wouldn't say it's been solved till now, but it's a journey, right? And like Gayatri was mentioning, she looks at a lot of data, right? In India, especially in this current context, there are two schools of thought. One are apps which take a lot of information from you, and the other are all apps that infer a lot of information from what you do, right? So there's explicit personalization and implicit personalization, right? So explicit is what you do in Facebook. Facebook technically knows who you are, who your cousins are, who's your brother, what's your brother doing. So it's a lot more easy for platforms like Facebook, Google. They'll know a lot more information about you, so they're able to info better. And personalization is generally the ability to predict what you are more likely to consume. And that comes from a lot of signals and data that you give, right? We belong to the school that doesn't take any login information, right? So the social apps build what you call as a social profile of an organization, of a person or an organization. What apps like ours do is we build what we call as a content profile. They're two different, I would say, ends of spectrum, right? Given this whole concern of privacy, I think we like to stick to the whole content profile. So what we do is we know a little bit of who you are based on what mobile device you use, which campaign you're responding to, which language you speak, which location you come. And from this, we go about a journey of trying to know a lot more about you, with only from the signals that you give on the content you consume. Right? It's slightly more convoluted problem to solve, but I think we've been doing that fairly well. And then you throw in another dimension of language, which kind of complicates it more. But having said that, I think today, personalization leads to probably 4 or 5x more engagement on content than any other platform. Right? Gone are the days when you have a chronological feed of content where you could just consume what they think you should consume. Right? And today, most apps, every home screen of the app is very different from everybody. The person sitting next to you sees something else, and what I see is very different, right? So, while the problem has thrown up a lot of challenges, and especially with a market like India where there are multiple languages, right? Multiple contexts, multiple nuances, but I think we are all on part of the journey. I think Kin also is trying to solve that problem in some way, but we should get there at some point of time. But personalization is the key because it provides you more context to what you're more likely to consume.
That's wonderful. I sincerely believe a lot of disconnect between the metro cities and township. Today, the gap that existed with with information sharing is now pretty much filled with social media and other ways of communicating. So you don't feel that you're left out in a small town today, right? Naveen, I know you spent 2 decades of your life in media and entertainment. Now you're an entrepreneur, investor. What has changed in your life from being a media guy, Times of India, to becoming who you are today? And how do you see your investment profile change these townships that you want to work with, the smaller towns and the medium-sized cities? Where do you see that growth for you?
Thanks, Isha. That's a good question. Thanks, Gayatri, for having me here. I think one of the first realities of modern society is that all of us are migrants, right? On this panel, Ish comes from New York. New York is a migrant city. I come from Bombay. Bombay is a migrant city, right? Gayatri is in Chennai. It's a migrant city. She's in Singapore. She's not from Singapore. She's a migrant to Singapore and so on and so forth. So I think essentially, all of us are living a migrant life, right? We don't belong to our hometowns. There's a beautiful Tamil film that released last year called Maya Zagan. How many of you have seen it? Okay, so this is a wonderful film. You should see it. It's about a lost childhood. It's about migration to a new city and forgetting your roots. Arvind Swamy and Karthik do a terrific job. Very, very nice, small, easy to consume film. And it tells you what it really means to leave home and to go to a new city, and what it means to come back to the city and feel belonging, that this is where I belong, right? It's a wonderful film. I think you should all watch it if you've not seen it already. And I think in my media journey, I have, I have launched various brands. I mean, Radio Mirchi was one. And when I was launching Radio Mirchi, I remember we started in towns like Patna, right? So those of you who know media, Patna used to be under TAM called Media Dark, right? There was no media when we launched Radio Mirchi in 2005 in Patna. So Patna was not measured in Nielsen and TAM ratings. Patna was not on the map. Once we started launching Radio Mirchi, we started getting small local advertisers. You know, the Panwala, the tailor shop, the second-hand bookstore who passes, the IAS books down to the next, etc. Those were the advertisers on radio. First time in their life, they had actually created a ad and they came on. So we sort of brought them on board and so on and so forth. So when I started looking at my journey as an entrepreneur, I first looked at regional cinema. I said I have to do regional cinema because regional cinema is where India is, right? I call it Mitti Ka Khushbu. In the sense, the real stories come from, back in the regional markets. I don't work in the Hindi market. I don't work in the English market. I work in that. Because I believe every migrant story, every story of human movement, every story of urban story is a story of home, is a story of going back home. And that cultural roots is what we're losing in some manner. And that is what, if you can get, that's a great thing. That sense of community is difficult in an urban environment. And so any effort at building that, I think will be great. So my inclination is towards that. And when I heard of KIN, I think KIN is trying to do that, right? Build communities, remind you of your roots, remind you of your people back home, and try to connect with local neighborhoods. So all of us, when we stay in Bombay, I've been in Bombay 20 years now, but there are still parts of Bombay I don't know. And I think it will be great to sort of know what is happening in Bombay. And I think in the new era, the more you go forward with AI and with technology, the more you want to connect back to your roots. I think that's becoming very, very evident, right? So that's where I'm sort of focusing on. So I do regional cinema. I produce and fund and invest and market and distribute regional films in 10 Indian languages. And I want to look at stories that come from those places and how, what I call mitti ka khushbu, which is smell of the soil, is what moves me, right? That's my journey.
Would love to see a movie on Tuticorin.
Yeah, sure.
It's been a while since Chingam was released, so would love to see another movie.
I just want to actually add a point to what Naveen just said. So this is something that I normally tell people, like when I go and when they ask me, like why did you do KIN? So in the 90s, like there was a lot of desire for people to actually understand what's happening in the Western world. So you wanted to know about who's the singer in New York, who's the football player in UK, who's the stand-up comedian in South Africa, and so on. So that's when internet actually opened our eyes. And like to a large extent to what Ish actually said, Thoothukudi, Tirunelveli, Madurai, and like all these people from like tier 2 cities, we've all made it abroad to actually do a lot of things. And then after that, like fast forward, like we wanted to actually know nationalization was very pride, like India and things like that. You wanted to actually be very aware of, like North India and like Ahmad Tak and Amir Khan and Shah Rukh Khan and others were actually there. Today, in today's world, what we're actually moving towards is localization, because you want to know who's your local stand-up comedian who's actually there, who's actually locally able to actually perform and sing and so on. So Motamadi boys, like all of those small talents that you actually have inside your home is what you want to actually go and understand. So in a way, like we've all realized that, like 60% of your time is actually spent in your neighborhood, at your home, or your workplace, or your place of study, and so on. There you want to actually get connected. You spend a lot of time there, so you want to know events around the place. You want to actually know people who are living there. You want to know is there a community that's actually there, basketball community or even a tech community where you can go and engage with them and so on. So from that perspective, like information and trying to actually get it more relevant to you rather than actually trying to look at everything else outside. So there's a shift in people pattern and behavior which is actually there in this, like vast information age. We're not trying to actually replace or anything like that, but, like if you really think about it, how tech is actually going to actually expose all of these small things that are there. So the events that are going on, those people who are there and what offerings are actually there and so on is what, will be more relevant and more interesting to people. And that's what we're actually seeing today as well with the number of people on what they search for in our app and so on.
That's pretty cool. Vivek, do you have something to say?
Yes, I also wanted to add something for what Gayatri is doing, right? One thing when trying to know what's happening local, more so for people who live abroad, even you told me yesterday that you're here too. Your mom is here, my parents are here, right? Aging population is becoming, it's going to be more than younger generation. But I think that, how can we make use of the younger generation to actually take care of the aging population, which is not living with us. So when I even, like on my phone, I follow NDTV and Hindu, right? And then I choose Madurai and in both to see what's happening there while I'm not in Madurai. More so because to see how it is affecting my parents. Whatever is happening is actually affecting my parents who are living here, right? So I think with regards to that, whatever Kinhood is trying to do to make use of the younger population, to take care of the aging population is something that I think that's really very good. Yeah, and I think you should do more so, not just in terms of aggregating news, but also how to deliver something very faster, like which opens a new Q-commerce or a e-commerce, something like that.
That's a fantastic segue into this whole concept of micro-market economics, right? When I see something in the developed economies like US and Europe, this is not happening there. There is no local, delivery system. In fact, the town I live in, there is no food after 10 p.m. Everything shuts down. And Uber Eats last delivery is 10 p.m. And then you come to India, like you guys are eating at 2 a.m. in the morning, the best food. There are good and bad things about it, right? The city never sleeps in Chennai and Mumbai. And now I see that in Madurai and Tirunelveli, which is even more amazing. There is life after that, right? So the whole local economy is only going to supercharge with technology. So my first question, Mr. Ravanan, is, you guys are in every nook and corner, trying to carry the news, but also you're trying to market something to people. How has your digital marketing changed in the last 2-3 years, and how do you see the next 2 years with AI and other stuff in terms of driving that local economic growth? Do you guys even think like that? Because everyone who comes to a news media not just comes there because they're reading something, but they're also buying something at some point, right? You're targeting that audience, and that drives economic growth for that city. How do you see that?
Before that, I'll probably put this whole hyperlocal thing in context. The way we look at hyperlocal from a content space is hyperlocal is equal to vernacular, right? I'm saying back in 1999 when we started our journey, probably we're trying to raise money, Indian language / vernacular, Indic language is not sexy enough. It is not very attractive enough to even raise money. Because it is considered Tier 2, Tier 3, largely driven by English and to some extent Hindi. I think with the advent of technology, a lot of digitization, I think this whole ecosystem has changed. And once this ecosystem has changed, we realized that India is not one country. It's a million Bharats. The whole VC lingo of million Bharats, right? And Tamil Nadu itself is not just one state because there's so much of heterogeneity, unlike the US. Probably there's one language that entire US speaks, right? We speak 1,622 dialects in India, with Tamil itself is having probably 32 slangs, 32 ways of, speaking, right? So, since our journey started with this whole hyperlocal concepts, we've been looking at this hyper-personalization very closely from day one, right? It started off with language, but then as we progressed over a period of time, consumer behavior also started getting more, granular, right? And since we work on a lot of data, right, we try to match consumption with the propensity or intention to purchase of a particular product. Right? So if you look at our personalization layer, doesn't just work on our content serving engine, it also works on our ad engine. And interestingly, the hyperlocal ad market works very differently from your overall digital market.
Right.
Right? Very different. As of last year, I think digital market is scaled to hit around 50,000, 60,000 crores, right? Of which I think now hyperlocal advertising is 30, 40% now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's a sizable amount of number. Like you said, right? There are local vendors who like to advertise. The whole SMB business, while it's long tail, but it's massive.
That's amazing. We're a little bit running behind schedule, and we have something more exciting that is going to happen now. I'll tee it up and then pass it around to the organizers to explain what it is. Gayatri's team has been partnering with, IT&T and driving a lot of innovation in this community. As a part of that, they've evaluated about 50 plus startups or even more, and kind of distilled that into 25 startups that most of you are here somewhere. Raise your hand who are all part of that startup community.
No. This is the Kinnovate Hackathon.
The Kinnovate Hackathon. Wow, that's amazing. I spent some time with some of you in the front. Congratulations to being here. And then the 25, we have 5 exciting winners we're going to announce, and we have our favorite IT minister, Dr. Tyagarajan, who's here. I'm not going to steal his thunder, but I will have him to the stage and be part of us. Or maybe Hari, why don't you tee it up, and then Dr. Tyagarajan PTR can announce it.
Great. Quickly, to give you context, in line with the theme of Inform, Inspire, Innovate, we had this Kinnovate Hackathon Challenge for all college students in Chennai in partnership with the Umagine team. We had 300 plus registrations, 20 plus colleges, 100 plus entries. We had 5 different tracks to basically evaluate these students. We gave them 48 hours, news, user behavior, sentiment analysis, current moderation. All of you who taken part in this contest, congrats, all the best. We had 25 finalists. So from these 25 finalists, we have the top 5. We'll quickly go on to that and we'll invite PTR sir. So we'll start off with the special mention 2, which is the 5th team. This is a team from Chennai Institute of Technology. The track being content moderation. The team name Phoenix. Guys, give a very quick note on your project.
So,
this is again from Chennai Institute of Technology. It's called What Warriors. They worked on the track called Sentiment Analysis.
So actually we worked on sentiment analysis project. It is nothing but recently we have seen like in a particular post there will be many comments which may be positive or negative. What we did was we trained an AI model to detect whether a particular comment is positive or negative, and we can get the feedback like how that sentiment of that particular post was. And also we integrated many language support like Tamil, Telugu, whatever language may the comment be, it will translate it in English and it will detect the sentiments of the comment.
Hello, we are Team Youth Tech from RMK Engineering College, and we worked on engagement and rewards platform PS, and we We first understood that the problem was user retention and that hardly 10% of the people who download the application are using it actively. So after understanding this, we thought how we could increase the user base. And for that, we conducted many surveys and we understood where incentivization was needed. And to bring upon real world changes and incentivization, we created a feature for donating points and gaining points through quizzes within the app, and that's how we try to innovate and provide a solution to the problem. So, thank you.
Good work, guys.
Our application named Know Your News, shortly KIN, it's to symbolize we are in the same track. And the application comes with the features for a children's page, and it's a news aggregation application and customization. We have used artificial intelligence, machine learning algorithm for personalization by using each click and the likes. And it comes with features for children and for exam preparations and for events and for old age peoples also. And saving feature also is available. You can access the news in offline. Okay.
Yeah, the main thing we have did is we categorize our audience as children and focus on them for giving children specific news, and for old people they won't have the idea of reading the news. So we provided the feature to listen the news like FM radio. They can get the live news as it comes. And then we also given the feature of preparation page, which aggregates news related to the respective competitive exams. The main feature we have added in it is we can generate questions out of that news. This all within.
Good work, guys.
So we also added events page so that we can, anyone with an organization can add an event, announce it publicly, and categorize it whether it is weekly, yearly, so that. Thank you.
Is this? Now I'd like to share the mic to PTR sir for a few encouraging words.
Thank you. I'm sorry I missed much of the session, but I'm very happy to be here to give away these prizes. I'm informed that we're going to try and work through IT&T to get internships for all the winners of these awards with startups. So I think that'll be a wonderful thing. But I think even more, I've now had the experience of attending a few of these hackathons, and it's incredible to me the kind of new thinking that young people bring. I remember I was young once, and I used to think outside the box a lot. So especially in this age of rapid evolution of technology and new kinds of problems which many of us cannot relate to because, you know, many of us prior to the social media era, prior to the ubiquitous living on your cell phone era, I think many aspects like those highlighted today, sentiment analysis, content screening or automated screening, filtering and selection, all of these, I think there's a lot more to be done. And so one of the things we've been talking about actually is for next year's Umagine, for 26, to have a year-long event taking the best aspects of all the different hackathons we've seen across all the colleges and the youth of the state and work towards a separate kind of youth event in this during Umagine. Next year we've taken both arenas, both this one and the next one. And I think we'd like to bring a few thousand students in, having gone through a process of hackathon for a whole year. There's so many problems that need to be solved. Even in the Smart India hackathon, I noticed that many governments had given their problems. And I say this very often, the complexity of society, the scale of society has changed dramatically, and most governments have not adapted adequately around the world. I'm not talking about politics now, I'm just talking about administration and governance. And so a lot of governments can actually use a lot of new ideas. So I think some combination of commercial plus social and public benefit. We'll run a year-long hackathon and hope we get brilliant people like those we saw here today to work on problems both in terms of economic impact, but also societal improvement. So this is a wonderful start. Thank you to Kin, thank you to IT&T, thank you to the panel here, and we hope to do a lot more of it in the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Would have Gayatri, our CEO, address the gathering.
Hi, a couple of quick words. So thank you, Minister, for gracing this occasion. So I'd like to actually say a little more about Umagine and the effort that, the IT Ministry, the IT&T, and the ICTA have actually done. So just as you guys have a small stage this year to actually do this hackathon, thanks, Minister, to actually say that, he'll take it far wider across the state. Last year, I had the opportunity to launch KIN in the innovation arena. So I had a tech launch that was there. So although I'm a media company, we're still a tech company as well. So it's nice to see the IT Ministry supporting not just, startups, but also extending their support to students as well. So it's like a journey that we all have in terms of taking hoops to become, student creators, and then, startups, and then trying to actually move on to become big industrialists. So I'd really like to actually thank you for the opportunity, sir. So thanks a lot. Thanks.
Okay.
Sorry about the interruption. So we had to actually do the price distribution so that, the minister could actually be around for that. I'd request all the panelists that we stay back so we can complete the panel, because there's a lot more that we wanted to actually talk about in terms of technology and how tech is actually enabling societies to actually grow. Particularly in Tamil Nadu, there's a lot of changes that's happening. So we can just talk about it and complete the panel. Thanks.
Thank you, Gayatri. We have some extra mics. The best use of our time probably is to you can ask some questions for the panelists, so it'll save my time.
I think that would be
so
good.
I'm going to pass the mic to start with some questions from our audience.
Hi, this one's for you guys. See, so this is listening to.
Can you hold the mic close so we can hear?
Okay, I'm not loud. Okay, so this one's for you. From what I've heard from the panelists, and especially your thought behind KIN, it's almost like coming back to roots. So coming back to roots, is that a challenge, or coming back to a familiar turf? Is that making it easy?
Coming back to the roots. I think the question was that, is coming back to the roots, because I've lived outside India for 25 years. So the question is coming back to the place where I belong, is it easier or tougher? I'd like to actually say that, it's a bit of both. I think it's more easy because, culturally you're actually still very connected to this place. And as each of us have actually been trying to say that, trying to, I can't remember the phrase that, the Hindi phrase that you actually use. Something about miti, yeah. Yeah, so that is what, attracts and draws you back. The only change is that, when you come back, there is a lot of change that's actually happened. So technology and everything has actually transformed. So today when I actually look at the same Besanagar, or when I'm looking at Ananagar, I'm looking at it through the digital eyes in terms of, how things have actually cracked and so on. So trying to actually come back has been easy. Culturally, I think, there's a lot of changes that's actually happened and we still have a long way to go. But home is home at the end of the day, so it's much more easier to actually come back. Oh, from a business perspective. From a business perspective, I think India, Ish actually brought up this topic earlier. He was talking about cell phones in the US and the communication patterns that are there. Infrastructure, although, they had discovered telecom and telephones earlier, the technologies that you actually have here are very different. 10, 15 years ago when in New Jersey, when Path was the only thing that was there was only one Hyatt there and the place was completely empty. So in my Credit Suisse office, if I had to make a call, I used to actually come outside, stand outside the building and actually speak to them. And I used to laugh at them to say that, like, this is what's actually happening in the US, but, like in India, when I'm going from Chennai to Tirunelveli on a car, I never lose my, like 3G connection at that time. So I used to actually say that. So from a tech perspective, I think the infrastructure in India and in every Asian country is actually much better than the Western world, and it's actually improving. And today, I think there's 1 billion plus smartphone users in India itself. So you can see that the time is actually right for people to actually embrace technology, embrace digitization, get more familiar with it and so on. So from that perspective, it's actually been, like very different. Doing business in India, if somebody says that you're a woman entrepreneur and you can't actually do that, I don't believe that. Every country has its own challenges. Women entrepreneurship is, like, just, like it's not a big thing. You just have to actually plow along and actually do that. If you're able to actually work in an investment bank with, like 50 other men who are actually dominating traders and you're actually having to sit with them, I think coming back home and working in your own place and trying to move forward is much, much easier. You just have to have a positive outlook and just move on. So I think India is still a very, very nice place, thriving place. Lots of opportunities for people to actually move forward. And it's the outlook that you actually have to start as an entrepreneur and actually move on.
Let me also try and answer the question commercially, right? So when I say Mitti Ka Khushbu also means that when the pandemic happened, a lot of people got introduced to the digital economy. People who never had ordered anything online, for the first time started ordering things online, right? And now there was a potential of a small farmer, a small business in the back of beyond of Tamil Nadu to actually have his produce delivered anywhere in the world. So if you were, situated in the US and you thought of home, and there was, let's say, a North Arcot biryani that you remembered, right? There is now tech delivery that enables you through tech to have that delivered anywhere in the city or beyond the city. Coimbatore has been known for pumps, right? I mean, for years. Shivakasi is known for firecrackers. And these are brands that rest of India knows that belong to these parts of the country. But there's a lot more local commerce that can now become national in nature. So the lines of national and local will blur. It'll essentially, you can deliver. Technology now enables you to, technology is an enabler. I mean, although AI is trying to enslave humanity, but tech, by definition, is an enabler. So if you use tech as an enabler, you can solve a lot of problems delivering commercial things. In West Gujarat, in Kutch, so there are the artisans who used to make these intricate textiles, which is handcrafted. For years, it's been their craft, only transported through trains and traders. Today, on digital, people from Germany and Spain and Mexico can buy it. So I think, yeah, it's an enabler. I mean, when small towns become hubs for commerce, people move back. So Nasik, they created multi-acres of lands into vineyards through contract farming. So now there are 25 wine brands that are made in Nasik that are exported all over the world. Now that place is on the map now, which, beyond 20 years back, you would not even know a place like that existed. So I think integrating of the smaller towns to bigger towns and that Mitti Ka Khushbu in commerce, you can get it if you use tech to enable, if that answers your commercial question. Yeah.
Okay. We'll take one from the back.
Yeah. This is to Mr. Ravadan, and one more question to Ms. Gayatri. As an aggregator, what is your strategy vis-a-vis the publishers and content creators? And I also can ask Gayatri also, you talk about micro-marketing and neighborhood. What's your definition or understanding of what neighborhood is, or perception of what neighborhood is? Thank you.
I'll probably take the question. So when we start the journey, right, back then, content didn't exist digitally to a large extent. So the problem then was very different. Problem was trying to convince publishers to give us their content without them feeling that we violated their copyright space. But the journey has now progressed to such an extent that today we have every single publisher who's digitally present on a platform, right? So it's a journey. The strategy has evolved over a period of time. Today, I think we've gone beyond a point where my partnership team has any strategy. They're only maintaining partnerships now because we've almost got everybody onto the platform. Having said that, that's one layer of a publishing ecosystem in India. We have those organizations which create content. But as you go downstream, you have a lot of individual creators who started creating content, right? So for that, the strategy is slightly more, I would say, evolved, needs to evolve a little more, because we see that a lot of noise gets generated from individual content creation. I think quite a few of these kids at the Kinthon tried to solve the problem of moderation, right? If you see any platform that's gone through a journey of individual content creators, has stepped back a little because it creates a lot more noise than what you'd want. So today, content creation is slightly more, on the text side at least, is slightly more controlled. While on the video side, there's a lot of problems. Now, if you see, Facebook has just changed the strategy on moderation. It's moved towards community notes. Because I think the scale at which it needs to be done is very expensive, right? So that's going to be what defines your strategy on content aggregation.
I'll just answer your question very quickly. So I think Professor Gopi was asking about micro markets and my definition of hyperlocal. So hyperlocal is any area that where you're actually standing and like what's going on around you. So in Chennai, like there are about 16 or 18 corporation zones that are there. So I can actually belong to Adyar. So for me, like people in Adyar and that marketplace, maybe the 3 to 5 lakh people in and around that 3-kilometer radius becomes the marketplace that's there. So when I'm defining about marketplaces, I'm talking about people living there, the shops and entrepreneurs who are actually there, the clubs and communities that actually exist in there. So how is it that that particular community can actually become a self-sustaining micro market economy? So I'm talking about that shopkeeper and that person who's actually there trying to understand what's in their neighborhood, where they actually go, how they can actually leverage that neighborhood for their own things. So you might actually be, like students who are doing Viscom, or you can actually be tech people that are there. You can actually create a smaller, solution for the local shop to be able to actually market or enable e-commerce for them so that they can sell in that particular space. So how is it that, like people are able to self-sufficiently manage within that economy and build that economy forward is my definition of micro markets, and that's what I'm trying to actually push along. So in Chennai, if we actually have 6 or 7 very strong micro markets that I'm actually trying to create, more than 30 or 40% of the GDP of Chennai is probably coming from those areas that are actually there. And how is it that I can enable commerce for them so that, like they can actually grow bigger and not everything gets digitized. There is a level of digitization. Trying to bring digitization to the non-digitized world is also something that, like we're trying to attempt. And that's the objective. And I guess some of you from your hackathons have also given us some more ideas in terms of how we can take the thing forward as well. So thanks again. Thanks for your time. I think we're running a little over to the next ones, but all the panelists will be available just outside. So if you do have any questions or suggestions, please come and speak to us just outside the hall. Thank you. Thanks again for a wonderful morning. And thanks to Ish, Ravnan, Naveen, and Viveka as well for flying and taking all the time to actually speak to us and making this very memorable to us. Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you so much, ma'am. May I request you all to please stay back for a few minutes? I'd like to call upon Mr. Guru Chandran, District Revenue Officer, ELCOT, to please come on stage and felicitate all our moderator and speaker today. Can we all give a huge round of applause as we welcome him on the stage, please? First, we'd like to felicitate Dr. once again for this insightful session. Let's take the inspiration from the ideas shared today to drive innovation and collaboration for a brighter, more connected future. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, ma'am. We are now moving forward to a masterclass on cybersecurity challenges, innovation, and talent needed in marketing. I would request, please, all of you to stay back. It's a very short session. And the speaker for today is Mr. Abdul Qayyum. He's a compliance and risk at State Bank of India. Can we all give a huge round of applause as we welcome him? Abdul Qayyum, Manager of Compliance and Risk, Regional Business Office, Chennai Central, State Bank of India. He holds a PG Diploma in Business Management. He has an industry experience of 17 years, ranging from corporate world to banking industry. He has worked in international business division, business banking, retail segments, products, and now taking one of the core compliance and risk areas of SBI. The association with SBI is for 11 years now, and he's here to do a masterclass on the cybersecurity challenges, innovation, and talent needs in banking. May I request you all to please put your hands together as we welcome Mr. Abdul Qayyum on the stage. Request all of you to please not leave the room. I request all of you to please be seated. This is a kind request to all of you who are leaving the room. I request you to please be seated. This is a kind request to all of you who are entering the hall. Please take your seats. May I request everybody entering the hall to please take your seats. Now we have a masterclass on cybersecurity challenges, innovation, and talent needs in banking. And for this, we have our speaker here today, Mr. Abdul Qayyum, Compliance and Risk at State Bank of India. To say a few words about him, he's a regional business office head in Chennai Central, State Bank of India, holding a PG diploma in business management. He has an industry experience of 17 years, ranging from corporate world to banking industries. He has worked in international business division, business banking, retail segments, products, and now taking care of compliance and risk areas at SBI. The association with SBI is for 11 years now. May I request you all to please put your hands together and welcome Mr. Abdul Qayyum on the stage, please.
morning, everyone. Hello. Good morning, everyone. My name is Abdul Qayyum. I'm from State Bank of India. Won't be taking much of your time, and we'll start with the cyber security threats that the banks are facing nowadays. When I say banks, it is not only about the banks; it is the bank system, infrastructure, customers, the third-party vendors, and whosoever is associated with banks in India. To start with, I'll just say a brief about what is cybersecurity. Anything which is done using a computer system and an internet, it can be for good, it can be for bad. Cyber criminals are attacking the computer systems of banks for not only misusing data, taking control of the account information, sensitive data of individuals, transaction histories, but also a lot of funds. So basically, cybersecurity in banking has become the frontline defense against ever-growing wave of digital threats. Billions of dollars in sensitive data is at risk, and banks are under constant pressure to be one step ahead, always be one step ahead of the cyber criminals. So we'll start the presentation. When we ask what is the use of being digital or how it is going to help us, as a banker, I can say it provides us 24/7 availability in terms of transactions. Transparency is increased. Whatever you put in system is going to be reflected, is going to be affected. You need not stand in queue at the branch, fill up application forms to do NEFT and other service requests. Reduced human error. Again, what I said, whatever you enter, the result is going to be accordingly. Improved customer convenience. Sitting in your bedroom, on your sofa, using your laptop and mobile phones, you can do all sorts of transactions nowadays with the help of technology. It can be starting from online shopping, booking tickets, booking appointments, searching for a match for your children, making donations, recharges. There are a lot many things. But at the same time, when the technology has given these many benefits to us, the use of, or you can say misuse of technology it has become very common for some people who are trying to deceive people, who are trying to defraud people without a hesitation to get caught. So this is actually very difficult for banks as well as the other organizations who are dealing in public money to prevent and safeguard their systems from such threats. Cybersecurity in banking basically refers to the technologies and practices that are designed to protect against any kind of cyber threats. We are not only having the data of customers, financial data is there, personal information is available. There are so many social security numbers of customers that in case it is compromised, it can have detrimental effects on the image of the bank. Customers, of course, they are having a faith on the banks, trust on the bank that whatever information we are sharing with the bank, it is going to be secure, it won't be disclosed to others, and that is how there is a deep trust on the banking industry by the customers. It is not only about the money which is involved, rather the data, it has got more value. So basically, it is about securing the entire digital infrastructure of a bank from online banking system to internal databases against any kind of unauthorized access. Now, why do banks need cyber security? First one is, as I said, customer data protection, because customers have given their personal information like social security numbers, addresses, transaction details. A competitor can misuse these information if they get unauthorized access to all these. Maintaining customer trust and reputation. Basically, trust is the foundation of any banking relationship. Customers trust the bank and they provide the information to the bankers with a view that whatever details they are giving, it will be kept secret from anybody else. And also, bank has a policy not to disclose these information at the request of any of the other customers. In case there is a court order or something, we can very well disclose this information, but not to other customers, simply on their request. So whenever there is loss of data, loss of breach of trust, it has repercussions. It has a long-term impact on the trust and goodwill of the bank. So maintaining customer trust and reputation again I said, overnight reputation, perception of people can change towards a bank. When we hear about some incidents happening in some private bank that the shares are going down or some CEO is arrested, we make a perception that we don't know whether the bank is going to continue or not. People start taking out money very quickly. Overnight the perception changes about a bank. So the image of a bank, how they are going to maintain the customer trust, it is of utmost importance. Compliance and regulations, there are so many compliance and regulations imposed by the controller, Reserve Bank of India, and all the stakeholders, all the other organizations like PFRDA, IRDA, SEBI, all these controllers and regulators have got a set of rules and regulations for banks operating in India, and we have to comply with all these. Otherwise, hefty penalties and fines can be imposed. It can even lead to cancellation of licenses. Critical infrastructure, see, whenever there is a cyber attack on banking system, first thing is it affects the infrastructure of the bank, the servers, the computer systems. And once these things are affected, the performance of the operations, the functions like UPI transactions, internet banking, all these will go down. Either the speed will reduce or it will be a complete shutdown. Then to recover from this, banks takes a lot of time. It involves money also. It involves a lot of cost also. So that is how to avoid all these things, bank has to take care of its systems. And of course, ensuring business continuity. I think it's visible. So there are a few. Hello. 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 So some of the common cybersecurity threats that are faced by banks nowadays is phishing attacks, a very common thing which was there in the earlier days also. We get a link through email or messages. We are asked to click on it, which redirects us to the bank website or to some other web page where we are asked to share information about our social security numbers, our bank account details, and that is how it gets compromised. This problem is not only faced by the banks, but in fact, banks' customers, the employees, everybody is facing these challenges. And it is still very much in fashion. Although it is very old, but it is still very much in fashion. Malware and ransomware. Ransomware, everybody would have heard. Somebody will have unauthorized access in your system. They will get control on your system. System will be logged out. And to access your own system, you will be asked to pay some amount. Eventually, we end up paying something. Either we will be losing the data or we have to pay something to get back the access to our systems. It can be the computer system or even the mobile phone. By installing some malicious apps or clicking on some links, one connect is established between our computer, our mobile phone and the cyber criminals. By this, they will get control and access to our systems and they will ask us to pay some amount to get back the access, to get back the control of our own phone, our own device. Malwares, malicious softwares, again, not from reputed organizations, reputed companies. Instead, banks, I should not say banks, but many of us often go for shortcuts where we are getting free version of very costly softwares and applications. We download it just like that. Once we click on it and once we install the software on our phones and systems, it creates a link and it starts passing on all the information from our device to the cyber criminals. This is how a bridge is made and they get access to our information which is stored in the device. It can be photographs, files, contact numbers, anything. So be careful with this. Distributed denial of services attacks. What do these attacks do? It will slow down, whenever there is such attack, no, it will slow down the computer systems. System will take more time in executing an application, executing a transaction. You enter an ATM and you expect that within 2 to 3 minutes your transaction will be over, but it will take more time. You will feel like my ATM card is stuck. Or when you are doing an internet banking transaction, the OTP will take a lot of time to come. Sometimes you have to click on resend OTP 2 to 3 times, and eventually the page will be out. Amount gets debited. Again, it's a matter of concern. So this is done by creating a kind of traffic in the system by the cyber criminals, so that the entire system gets slowed down, and eventually it will affect the performance of the transactions for the bank. NEFT transactions will not be settled in time. Internet banking will take a lot of time. Sometimes it will be a complete shutdown for the banks. And end of the day, we often read in news that Facebook was shut down for so many hours. X was not working, or IRCTC never works. All these are sort of, there is a possibility of DDoS attacks on these systems. Advanced persistent threats. Under this kind of attack, cyber criminals will enter into the systems of the organization in a way that it is not recognized in time, and they will be there in the system for several months and years. Sometimes it is very difficult to find out because our systems are not so good in India to catch each and everything. And many times, as long as they are in systems, they will be stealing information, and the organization will not come to know about it. So this kind of threats are not very common in India, but it is reported from many of the other organizations across the world. Third party and supply chain attacks. Banks or other organizations, we are relying on so many third party vendors and services we are getting from outside. Sometimes there is a loophole, or these third party vendors create a backdoor for cyber criminals to enter into our systems. This can also be a probable threat for the systems, where we can lose some important information or money. So what do we do for effective cybersecurity solutions for banks? Not only for banks, for all of us as individuals as well. Multi-factor authentication. After logging in the internet banking, we enter our user ID, password, and then one OTP comes, which is to be entered. Without entering the OTP, system doesn't allow us to enter into the system. So this is called a second factor or multi-factor authentication. It can either be an OTP or a thumb impression or a CAPTCHA, anything. It creates an additional level of defense in the system, thereby reducing the chances of fraud. End-to-end encryption. If the data of ours is encrypted, even if the cyber criminals get into possession of this data, they won't be in a position to use it for their benefit. It will be in encrypted form only. So encryption should be strong enough. As an engineers, we should try to make such softwares where the encryption level is so high that even if the data is compromised, it cannot be misused by anybody. And ultimately, the cyber criminal has to dispose it off without getting any benefit of it. AI-powered threat detection system is a system which uses a lot of data collected across the systems, and it studies the patterns of transactions in the system. Thereby, it will try to find out is there any lapse in the system, is there any malicious attempt to get unauthorized access to the systems, the data, the information of banks. This is used by SB actually. It is already implemented. Zero trust architecture. Systems are there, procedures are there, but we should not trust anybody. On every level, on every entry point, there has to be a checking system, checking mechanism. So following this thing and without giving any kind of relaxation to any of the levels, we can ensure privacy of data. And security incident and event management systems. This system is yet to be implemented in India. What this system does, it is an extension of the AI powered threat detection, wherein it will be analyzing data for the entire banking system, the entire organization system, and if some, you can say, something unusual is figured out in the verification, it will, an alert will be sent to the concerned department to recheck the thing. So this will basically, it will try to figure out if something is going wrong in the system, and in early stages itself we can detect if there is some abnormality. Best practices, how to deal with it, regular employee training. We should train ourselves as well. Conducting regular audits. Of course, regular is audit is a kind of post-mortem, because if something has already happened, then we go for audit. But in case there are pre-audits, or what I do is I'm a compliance and risk official. Before the audit comes to the branch, we go to the branch and we check for the records and data, and we advise the branches in case anything is not in order. So such kind of pre-checks are always beneficial to find out if something is wrong. Keeping software updated, update the software, keep the patches updated. Never download software which are from unauthorized sources, never go for free, nothing comes for free in this world. If you get a free software, probably you won't be getting updates, security updates precisely. Implementing strong password policies, of course, developing an incident response plan. Incident response plan, whenever there is a problem, we have to come with resilience. There has to be a return with the same vigor and same energy. So it's in SBI it is called BCOR, Business Continuity and Operational Resilience. Whenever there is a disruption in systems because of natural calamities or system failure for some other reason, SBI has a system wherein we can quickly come out of it, and we can keep providing uninterrupted services to our customers without any disturbance. Hardly it takes a matter of few minutes. We can arrange, we can have an alternate arrangement with some other branch, nearby branch, and customers can be redirected. So whatever transactions I went to do at this branch, I can easily do it in the other branch also. This is called BCOR, which is available all over India for State Bank of India. As I said, it is not only about banks, it is about individuals also. So these are some common cyber fraud mechanisms adopted by cyber criminals nowadays. Phishing links, the old good method, where we get mails and SMS with a link. SIM swapping, not very common, but of course when it happens, it is very detrimental because all the OTPs start going to that new number and the person can get access to your systems. Fictitious online selling platforms. iPhone available on website, one website is for 1.5 lakhs, another website is selling is for 95,000 rupees. Brings a kind of suspicion in us. So double check it, verify, check for the authenticity of the website, check for the number of visitors on the website, go for the reviews, try to identify the fake reviews and the genuine reviews, and finally you can decide about whether I should shop with this particular website or not. But it is always better to go for the reputed players rather than going for the unknown ones. Wishing calls. These are calls. Sir, I am calling from State Bank of India. You have to update your KYC. Instead of asking you to go to the branch, I will say, sir, you can share the details with me. I am sharing a link with you. And once a link is given, it creates a link between you and me, and I can get everything, whatever you want. These cyber frauds are not a single, cyber criminals won't use a single technology for doing frauds. They will use a combination of 2 to 3 things. First, they will get access to your systems by either giving you some great offers. You can call it greed also. By giving you some great offers, they will try to get access to your systems, or by creating a fear in your mind. These are 2 mechanisms that are used by cyber criminals nowadays. It is called social engineering. It works on either greed or fear factor. Greed of getting higher returns, greed of getting free lottery ticket, some lottery ticket, or some world tour, some reward points, good returns in stocks invested by you, bitcoins and all. So this is one technology used by them. Second thing is fear. They will try to create a fear in your mind that if something so-and-so thing is not done, you will be losing this amount. You will be losing the life of your near and dear ones. You will be having an income tax rate. You will be caught by police. Some case will be registered. So these are the 2 techniques with which cyber criminals will try to finish their task. Basically, we often get into these things and we have to choose either of these. If you are not so well educated, if you are not so well informed, then the chances of getting caught is very common. Even bankers are getting defrauded nowadays. So be careful with phishing calls. Digital arrest scam, this we will discuss later, briefly, of course. Courier scams, it is another form of digital arrest where some people will call you and say some parcel is received which contains something, some powder-like substance. And it bears your name, your Aadhaar number is found, your phone number is there, so you have to come for an inquiry. If you want to avoid that, better you go to some police station and you appear over there. If you want to avoid that also, you have to pay some amount in the form of bail, and we will arrange for dismiss this case. But please be mindful, any of the organizations who are into investigation, CID, CBI, even police department, they never do all these things in a digital way. Please educate your families and elders also, children also. There is nothing like digital arrest or digital proceedings. Everything in India so far is physical only. There is no digital arrest. It's always physical, and they will be, in 99% cases, they will be following the SOPs. They have to follow their SOPs. So try to understand, whenever somebody is giving you a shortcut to get away with some legal implications, beware, disconnect the call. It is not going to cost you anything. Screen sharing apps like TeamViewer, fake details in search engines. Sometimes the search engines itself are fake. Always look for the padlock symbol on the top. And of course, you can see how many visitors are there on the website, contact numbers given on the website. And avoid having any unknown or unverified apps on your system. This we have already discussed mostly. This is another kind of fraud which nowadays we are facing. In the name of interviews and training sessions, some of the companies will ask to make you payment, but none of the good companies or reputed companies will be charging any amount from you before getting you on the roll. So never make such payments. Be careful. Lottery fraud, again, you have won a lottery of say 1 crore, you have to pay 5%. Oh, it's a good deal. Simply by paying 5%, I'll be getting this much of amount. No, nothing comes for free. And especially for lotteries, be double careful. Juice jacking, whenever you find a port where you can charge your mobile, always carry your adapter with you, adapter as well as the data cable. Simply don't insert the data cable in the charging slot because it can juice your data, phone data. If adapter is there, it will work as a protection. You will be getting only the current to charge your phone. Data will not be passed. So often on railway stations and airports, we see such charging points. Be mindful. Don't use simply your data cable for charging the phones. Better use the adapters. Along with the adapters, sorry. This has become very common. I think some of us would have received calls like this, that you have been digital arrested for something, and you have to pay an amount to get a bail bond. There will be a setup, there will be a video call where judges will be sitting or policemen will be sitting in uniform with flags in the background, and they will be talking as if they are calling from some investigation department in Mumbai, and they will tell you that, sir, your name has appeared in some unlawful activities and you have to face consequences. So immediately come over to Mumbai. We have a hearing scheduled for you. If you fail to arrive here, then we have to issue an arrest warrant in your name. They won't give you time to think over it. They will ask you not to discuss anything with anybody. This is how they will create a sense of fear in your mind. And ultimately, you will be following their instructions. So these are all mind games which are played by cyber criminals to extract money out of us. Again, they have a benefit. They won't be getting arrested, no. It's very easy to get escape. And chances of arrest are minimal. They will disconnect the call. Many videos are there on YouTube where we see such cyber frauds have called real policemen. And real policemen have uploaded those videos on YouTube. So there is nothing like digital arrest. Arrest is only physical. Be careful with your transactions. If you have not done something, you need not worry. If you disconnect a call, nobody is going to take action against you, not even the local constable. Nobody will take action against you. And whenever you come across such thing, please inform the bank. Please inform the bank wherever you are maintaining your accounts. Always note down the phone number of the branch manager or branch staff. Customer care numbers are given in all the passbooks, backside of the ATM cards, credit cards. Always be in touch with your bank. Change the passwords. Once you realize that something has gone wrong, you have to report it. The moment you feel like something is going wrong, it has gone fishy, you have to change the passwords. Change the password, block the ATM cards, block the internet banking facility, and later, once everything gets settled down, you can again change the passwords and start using it. Courier scams, as I said, DHL, Jumbo Box. Some do's and don'ts for ATM cards. It's all very common, known to everybody. This is one helpline number given by our Government of India, 1930. For any kind of cyber frauds, we should report it to 1930, or we can lodge our complaint to cybercrime.gov.in also. Apart from and in addition to informing your branch manager or branch staff, you should report on this also. Once a complaint is registered on this, it travels down up to the last institution where the money has been transferred. See, when somebody takes your money or transfers the money from your account to one account, there will be a chain of transfers. The money goes instantly to so many banks, so many accounts. So it is always beneficial to report the matter in the golden hour. That is the moment you realize it has to be reported immediately. So thereby the chances of recovering this amount will be on higher side. 1930, the department says there are chances of 80% of recovery when it is reported well in time. So the moment you realize something has gone wrong, even if it is midnight, try to report it immediately. At least start the procedure. So simple creating a password, auto lock, trusted network. Okay, these are some toll-free numbers of our bank, very easy to remember, 1800-1234, 1800-2100. The first one is actually very easy, 1800-1234. This is the customer care number on which you can make a call and report to all sort of cyber incidents or all sort of service requests also. So with this, we come to the conclusion of this session. Thanks for being a very patient listener. I wish you a very good day ahead. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Now I would like to request Ms. Elavirisi, Deputy Collector, Tamil Nadu E-Governance Agency, to please come on the stage and felicitate our speaker today, Mr. Abdul Qayyum. Thank you so much for contributing to such a meaningful session. Let's contribute, explore and learn and innovate together. Next, we are moving on to the other session, which is a panel discussion on the topic, building a tech talent ecosystem, nurturing the next generation of innovators. And for this, I would like to first call upon Ms. Rama Devi, Chief HR Officer, who will be the moderator and speaker for today. Before we move on to that, we'll take a 5-minute break and we'll come back to this panel discussion. Thank you.
Test check.
May I request all of you who are standing behind to please come forward and fill the seats in the front. This is a kind attention to all of you standing in the black. Please come forward and take your seats. Now we're moving forward to the panel discussion on the topic Building a Tech Talent Ecosystem, Nurturing the Next Generation of Innovators. And for this, we have a moderator and speaker, Ms. Rama Devi, Chief HR Officer. Can we give a huge round of applause as we welcome her on the stage, please? Rama Devi, a seasoned HR professional with over 25 years of experience, blends strategic expertise with operational excellence. She served as an Indian Armed Force, first women air traffic controller, handling critical flying operations. Transitioning to IT, ITES, and FMCG sectors, she excels in talent strategy, employee engagement, and leadership coaching. We welcome you, ma'am. Next, I would like to call upon our first panelist for today's discussion, Mr. Charan Kumar Shetty, Director, UPS, Indian Technology Center. Can we give a huge round of applause as we welcome him on the stage, please? Mr. Charan, Director, HR at UPS India Technology Center, is a seasoned HR professional with 25 years of experience in consulting, talent acquisition, HR transformation, and workforce planning. With experience at Randstad and L&T, he excels in leading teams, driving transformational projects, and mentoring future leaders. Can I welcome you, sir? Next, I'd like to welcome the second panelist, Ms. Jayanti Vaidyanathan, Vice President and HR, PayPal India. Can we give a huge round of applause as we welcome her on the stage, please? Ms. Jayanti Vaidyanathan is the Vice President and the Head of Human Resource at PayPal India and has played several strategic roles globally and across the region. During her 25+ years of diverse experience in human resources, Jayanti has led HR, the high-tech technology and consulting fields in companies such as Conveyance and Fidelity International, where she helped partnering strategically with business leaders. She is the recipient of the Most Powerful HR Professionals of India Award by the World HRD Congress and an Innovative HR Leader Award. We welcome you, ma'am. Next, I'd like to call upon a third panelist for today, Mr. Sri Mahedesha V. Can we give a huge round of applause as we welcome on the stage? Mrs. Sri Mahedesha V is the Jurisdictional Director of Software Technology Parks of India, STPI, Chennai, under the Ministry of Electronics and Informational Technology, Government of India. With over 24 years of expertise, he plays a key role in administrating the STP, EHTP schemes for promoting software exports and developing the startup ecosystem in Tamil Nadu, Pondicherry, and Andaman and Nicobar Islands. He has made significant contributions to the IT industry, ESDM sector, startups, e-governance, and cybersecurity. We welcome you, sir. I'd like to call upon our fourth panelist for today, Mr. Srikanth, CEO, ICT Academy. Can we all put our hands together and welcome him on the stage, please? Mr. Srikanth, Chief Executive Officer of ICT Academy of Tamil Nadu, is a seasoned leader with over 20 years of experience in education and IT, ITES sectors. Since joining ICT Academy in 2012, he has advanced through roles now driving strategic planning, government projects, corporate partnerships, and education technology. Passionate about bridging the industry academy skill gap, he promotes digital empowerment, entrepreneurship, and career development. A frequent speaker advocating initiatives like Skill India and India Digital. He excels in programming management, partnerships, and government relations. We welcome you, sir. Over to you, ma'am.
Good afternoon, all. It's my proud privilege to be with this esteemed panel today. And as we all know, the pace at which the industry or the technology landscape is changing, it's important and very pertinent for the manpower to be ready for that. The world belongs to people who can innovate fast and keep up their pace with the moving technology space, right? So this esteemed panel today will be sharing their views and visions on how to build a technology talent ecosystem which is sustainable, especially for Tamil Nadu as well. Their views on how to build this talent ecosystem and explore some of the strategies for cultivating this ongoing, innovators which we need. We really need innovators to keep up the pace of the industry what we are having. So, the first question or rather, first topic which I would like to, garner your attention is towards updating of curriculum, which has been discussed much about, how the curriculum followed in the academies or the technology institutions need to be updated on an ongoing basis to match up with the industry expectation. So, what are your thoughts on that? What's the frequency of this updation needed, and how can curriculum be commensurate with the technology demand of the industry? So would you like to go, sir, first on this? Shrik?
No, you would like to start? I just put it this way. See, we are living in the cusp of, transformation of digital journeys, be it in, personal life, business journeys. First and foremost thing is, I think, with a lot of disruptions which is taking across the industries, okay, we should be very cautious about oneself in terms of, we should not be forgetting that we are human beings. It's the first and foremost thing. Because that's the one thing, because we are connected with the emotions, feelings, all that, right? So with that, I think very important that one has to be for oneself in our lives. Coming to the digital era, so I think tons of data is available, and we are actually not with us, especially students. I am feeling that in this audience is more of, I'm sure that more than 60% of the audience is actually students from various esteemed organizations, institutions. I would like to say that so you please be balanced in terms of what you learn and make your foundations digital learning very, very solid in terms of basics. So having said that, these two things, balancing, life as well as the technology learning. So from the point of view, your question is basically how do you make the school, our institutions syllabus much more oriented towards making them industry ready kind of a thing. So the thing is, our institutions by and large, we are actually regulated by, UGCs, okay, MHRD and all. So we are actually going with a kind of a framework under which Government of India or concerned bodies actually put up the framework under that need to be, every syllabus need to be put into place. I feel that I think some autonomy also need to be given in terms of how do we, basically institutions make their own syllabus in terms of going with the industry, what market demands are, and how we can cope up with kind of a demand and supply kind of bridging this gap. That is a kind of autonomy, because most of the institutions today are actually being autonomous because of this reason. So I think they have a lot of, they're actually well ahead of the curve in terms of those actually not being autonomous. But at the same time, the catch is, the flip side of the being autonomous is that how do we make up the students? It's not like just making factories and creating labors, techno labors. It's not like how do you make 360-degree person? How do you make that kind of a thing is very important at the same time to have a holistic development, because the workforce need to be leaders tomorrow. How do you make that journey happening? I think that that's how I think. With that, I'll leave it to.
Sure. Thank you, sir. So Shrikant, I would like to pick your brain on this, because you have been a conduit between the academy and industry. And what are your views on the curriculum updating, and what should be the pace, or what are your thoughts on that?
Good afternoon, everyone. See, just to give you an add-up, that ICT Academy is there since 2009 and 2008, and we have been finished 16 years of our journey. You can also visit our booth inside. So what I'm trying to give you, the perspective is that on the curriculum design, most of our services are endorsed by industry only from day one. So example like Oracle or a Salesforce or Fortinet networking, name any IT company, or giving their curation of their contents, everything to us. We are training the faculty. Through faculty, we are training the students, getting them the international certification, by which they are getting into the employment quotient. Just to give you a small example, that a company like MongoDB. MongoDB is almost similar like Oracle. They have a program called DBMS, which is the most sought after now. You name any company like Zomato or Swiggy, any of them are used. The backend platform is used by the MongoDB platform only. So that is a new norm, and most of the companies are using. What we are doing is that for the product whom we are trying to position with the colleges at large, making the student ready, the users of MongoDB are recruiting those students. This is the first intervention. Second, if any of the colleges are here want to really add up a new curriculum, we have a set of courses which are all industry-based courses. Autonomous colleges can straight away add up into their curriculum, no problem. Second is that with other Anna University colleges, you can have through BOS or this thing, you can take an approval and do it. So as the moderator was telling, our DNA or our paradigm is only the industry-based curriculum. So we have been nurturing, we have been changing it over the period of 16 years. And if you say Microsoft BI or Azure, which is also offered in a platter to the faculty and to the student. You name any technology, including we are talking to a company called Snowflakes. We find Snowflakes technology is very much used. A lot of industries are taking. We are gone into that. We also realize that AVGC, animation, visual, gaming, comics, which is a new norm, that a lot of companies are hiring. So we also gone into the domain. So whichever domain we feel there is an intervention required for a faculty or to a student, we can do. This is the first step. Second, as the industry people are sitting, we are tied up with each and every industry in the market, starting from Infosys or HCL, any company you see, they are tied up with us. They give the pedagogy, content, everything. So my point to you is that at large, the solution of the academia industry gap or the analysis skill gap issues are being addressed continuously, theoretically and practically also. So that is being, intervention is being, we have been doing because that is our core working strength.
Thank you, Shrikant. Ma'am, if you can, take on this. As companies, as a global organization operating in the tech space, how do you find the educational system producing industry-ready graduates?
I think we just spoke about it in our lounge area as well. I think today every organization is invested in doing a lot of customized programs to ensure students coming from campuses are really industry ready or company ready, right? I think what you go through is a very generic curriculum. There is a need for us to invest, like Sharon was talking about what they do at UPS. Similarly, we do at PayPal, invest in boot camps to ensure that there is readiness. But I think a few things that cannot be taught even in a boot camp, maybe I'll touch on that because I see a lot of student community here, is from a skill standpoint, your functional technical skills are a given. We expect you to come with fundamental skills, which we can help you groom, okay? That's a no-brainer. We can enable you to, get functional. But what we see as a gap today, every company is going through a transformation today. You take a business, and India is booming, with such stories. So how do you understand, not just know what you want, but have the attitude and the aptitude to get to what you want versus focusing on obstacles along the way? Many a time when you're going through transformation, the workforce has to rally, right? We need the entire organization to walk with us on that journey. And more often than not, we end up spending time not in developing products, but ensuring that people are, with us in this journey versus just saying, oh my God, this will not work, that will not work. So develop a mindset to follow. I know you have to ask questions and be open about it, but also develop a mindset to follow. We had one of our values long ago, which was debate, decide, and deliver. Debate is done, decision is made, start delivering. Focus on, what you have to do versus just focusing on obstacles. Sharpen the saw, again, is very critical, Rama, I'm sure. Absolutely. These two axe cutters were spending the same time cutting the tree, and one was like felling trees by the dozen, the other was not. And what he did, he was sharpening what they call sharpening the saw at home, right? That's what helped him. So continuous updation. We talk about innovation all the time. For me, it's not that $1 million idea, but incremental innovation, what you do, small things that you can bring to the table. So these are skills that one cannot teach even in an academic institution, but as students, how do we think about those and adapt to that is a big question. As companies, we are ever willing to work with academia to enable some of these through various, and there are various tools to do that. So I know it's a long-winded answer, but thank you for that question.
Thank you for sharing your thoughts on that. Charan, would you like to chime in on that?
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. We are on the consumer side. When I say consumer side, we pick people from colleges. So we are a consumer, we expect a certain limit of competency to come from there. But we also understand these are all freshers. You know, you right from the colleges, there's a generic kind of a topics being taught. But what we look out is that just not the technical front. You know, technically, yeah, you teach them .NET, Java, full stack, all fine. Theoretically, they're good. But practically, are they good is something that we sometimes find them a little lacking on that. So I think the exposure, again, we were talking on the launch, is that a lot of colleges have these internships as the last 6 months as a tick off and say, okay, do internship, you're off and done. I think internship should be there at least for a year. You know, that's how people will learn, that's how people know what's really happening in the industry. When we picked up a couple of people from few colleges, and of course it's not that we don't go for city-based colleges, but we are very clear that we want to hit tier 2, tier 3 colleges, because those guys, we find them a little more commitment level there, they're a little more agile, because if sometimes when we speak to students, they say, I want to do a job only in AI. I want to do only machine learning. They're not agile. I think that is not going to work for you guys. I think at least first formative years of, let's say 3-4 years, a student community has to be very, very agile. It's like, you know, for example, we remember in IIMs types, you know, they will put across everything, marketing, HR, finance, for first 1 year, 2 year, they go through that, and then they put on a specific role to say, okay, this is where you are going to be. So I think the mindset of the students has to change that, you know, first of all, let me be agile to come. The second is that, as Jayanti said, that, you know, the soft skill is something that we find is something that we lack. When they say soft skill, for example, just imagine this. We are going to bring a student, they're going to talk to somebody in the US, UK or Europe. First of all, they will get very, very perplexed and say that, what are these guys talking to me? I'm not able to understand. And if you don't understand that communication, what those guys are talking, it's very difficult for you guys to go back and also answer them back. You may be technically strong, but are you able to give the clarity of thought? Are you able to give that very clear communication to them? That's a little difficult. So along the technical skills, maybe the colleges can also concentrate on developing soft skills. You know, communication skills will be there and aptitude will be there. So that's what we look as a combination when we pick up people from the colleges. And just not technical skill. Technical anybody can do. For example, we just went to a college about 2-3 days back. Somebody scored a high 92% cutoff. But when talking to that particular person, they were not able to articulate the project itself. So technically they're strong, but then we shifted to a vernacular language, and then they were able to speak in Tamil very fluently, and very clearly they were able to tell us this what they did. So, but that is not the need of the hour, you know, because we are going global. We are not in situated only in India or Tamil Nadu. It's about US, UK. A lot of GCs are coming down, setting up shops in India. So your communication skill has to be very, very good. You can do that. It's not that nobody from a rural side cannot do it. Anybody can speak. It's about practicing. Just about last point, we picked up from 15 people from a tier 2 colleges about 6 months back. One of them, one of our colleague's friend, they also went to a campus, and they saw 2 students talking in English. Okay, conversation in English in that sort of a tier 2 city. Then he asked them, this is why I'm surprised that you guys are talking in English. Why? He said, we have been picked from the UPS. We know we're going to talk to US people. So we now started practicing not to talk in English. And that guy took the video, sent to me and said that this is what it's happening in the colleges. I thought we felt very happy about that. And that is what is required from the college community also. Yeah.
That's inspiring, isn't it? So we can make 100 programs, but the ultimate readiness has to come from the student community, right? No willingness to go that extra mile and learn little extra than what the college curriculum is teaching is what is coming out from all my panel's discussion. So just, just to pick the thread again between probably Madhish and Shrikant, how do we ensure that this sort of, the ICT sort of initiatives are given to even the underserved communities or the far-fetched tier? You talk about tier 2, what about tier 3 or villages? So is there any direction from the government so far to, take these sort of programs into lesser or other remote, places of our country as well, because we are being, a very, very large population here.
Look at today, we have about 1.4 billion population in India. I think more than 50% we are already connected, internet connected. After that, if you can look at the stats of, basically how many of them actually engage with social media and digital literacy and all. So when it comes to that, it's about more than equally as internet connected. Those who are connected, I can put it this way, digitally literate. In a way, how do you use this, access the technology and start using that technology point of view? If you can look at, with the introduction of UPI, the things have dramatically changed in India. That gives us one of the best example how basically we are adapting to those kind of technologies. In our basically digital lifestyle, how one has to be there, and also business entities can embrace those. But having said that, Government of India looking at the very important aspect of digital in our society to uplift them, and also making individuals digitally literate. A lot of programs have been unveiled. So, for example, if you have to look at National Skill Development Corporation is one of the entities actually closely working with the Government of India to skill building programs, and some of the programs like Atal Incubation Centers, Atal Tinkering Labs. Basically, Atal Tinkering Lab is to millions of students. They want to get engaged in create a curiosity about digital journey, and then get embraced, basically create a kind of a curiosity and interest in making sure some kind of a prototypes in their kind of a college schools, in the elementary school itself, and then build building blocks about that, and then start taking about. The moment actually the kids, actually the school goers get interest about it, actually they'll create an interest and then take it forward in terms of digital journeys. How do they become very technocrats and then eventually becomes the expert in that technical domains. So digital literacy, a lot of rural digital literacy rate, ITI, diploma levels, all that has been going on, and Government of India's like Pradhan Mantri, this one, there is some PM VYS, okay. Kaushalya Yojana, Pradhan Mantri Kaushalya Yojana, that is also one of the important program, and Pradhan Mantri's apprenticeship program. So most of the students may not be knowing about these apprenticeship programs, and this kind of a scheme. SID is also there. Skill India Digital Hub, like Skill India Digital Hub. So see, there are many programs. We can look at that. It gives a lot of about digital, how one can make use of the kind of technologies. And yes, government is very pushy in terms of making sure that not only taking this network access to the digital in terms of BharatNet and things that making the internet available in the rural side, but at the same time, how do we make them digitally connected and digitally literate? So there are many programs. I would request, I would actually suggest that everybody that make use of those kind of a platform, very fantastic, but at the same time, don't lose out in terms of where you want to be at the end, where you want to excel. So make your path very clear about it.
Thank you. Shrikant, would you like to add on anything on that aspect of, the government outreach programs to reach out to the students of, remote students or in remote areas? Or from the industry perspective also, like, were you having any programs to connect with such, underserved, areas of our country?
The intervention from government, we are doing a project. Actually, we are funded by MeitY only. The company was formed in 2008-9, funded by MeitY. So we are doing a long-term program with MeitY now that we are going to create one center of excellence in Madurai, in Tyagarajar College, on ESDM and EV. So the Government of India has announced a policy that the manpower development scheme, particularly for this industry. So we are establishing our first campus there. The colleges and students will be able to access to the, making them ready for the semiconductor industry on the ESDM industry. That is one intervention we are doing now. Second intervention is there to NSDC, National Skill Development Corporation. We have launched 2 programs. One is for the TOT, that is a training of the trainers. Any faculty member is here, can actually enroll for that program. You will be getting access to the latest technologies domain, like example AI or ML or any domain you talk about it. We are trying to certify the faculty member. That is one program. Second is that, third is that we are also going to train some students also on the new technologies. So this is on the intervention from the government side. Other than that, there are some running programs which we do concurrently, consistently with the government support in various forms. That is one. Mainly, if you see, 90% of our work predominantly stays with industry only. These industries only are approaching the government also. So government also felt that the sovereignty or independence with ICT Academy to tie up with us. I'll just give you one example. Infosys, Capgemini, Honeywell, ITC Infotech, you name any IT company, even Cognizant, TCS, have been part of our journey. They have funded us, and we are doing a 5-year project with the MIT. We are doing a 3-year project with Infosys, training some 45,000 students. My humble request here is that whichever industry is sitting here or any of the industry people are here, really want to tie up with us. Whether you want to come as a speaker, whether you want to come as a mentor, whether you want to come as an affiliator, collaborator, we are welcome. You can play a big part with us, either in the faculty training, industry endorsed training, or you want to become our speakers in various seminars, what we do, touch base with the clients we can do. We have our senior members also here, who have senior members. We have a stall also. You can connect with us. This is one. Second, with the faculty, we have a host of faculty programs, both funded by industry and funded by the government. We have a faculty program which is running, cutting across all domains, from IT, ITS to AVGC to ESDM to life science, to name any sector, including BFSI. We are also doing a large program with the fintech area with a company called Finestra, based out of Pune. We are doing a program. So any industry is already available with that. So you can endorse that. Third, with the student segment, every institution, in fact, we have a CIT chairman also sitting here with us in the gathering. Any college, we see, we have a spoke model. Every college across India, we are doing some 2,000 colleges across India. Every college, we have kept a spoke model. There is a spoke in the college who act between a mediator between ICT Academy and the institution. All are driven through a spoke. So the colleges, students here can approach your spoke in your own institution, who can take our services. We are doing a lot more programs. All this program, whatever you are giving, a Salesforce Cloud Architect program, or Oracle program, or Microsoft Azure BI, Fortinet program on networking, most of the programs are given without any cost to you. So that we can do. Then finally is that we also have our own research journal, which is also UGC CARE. Some of the corporates who are pursuing, who want to publish papers for a PhD, you are also welcome to submit your papers to us. That's one. Second, somebody wants to become a peer reviewer, you can also become a peer reviewer. On the Umagine, on the closing today, with the Deputy CM, we are going to launch our special issue on the AAML. Today's special issue, you will find that there are 5 articles which has come from UK, from the foreign people have done. So, intervention is large. Whoever want to play a role with us, in any form, with any industry want to play a role with us, we are open-ended.
Yeah, if you don't mind, if I can just add, I think I can vouch for what Mahadesh said. We've been hiring first-generation learners, especially from non-tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 areas, and we put them on par with any campus grad, put them through a special boot camp, and I can tell you the quality of candidates have really gone up thanks to all the programs that you're speaking about. We've seen that. But I just wanted to also kind of park a few points on the table. One, I don't know if you're following a straight jacket approach, right? Let's come up with these bunch of programs and let's digitalize this and give it. Can we do more of, institutionalizing programs that work for the local community? Maybe in the vernacular, maybe in agriculture, maybe in textiles and so on. So it supports the local businesses, and development in that particular community. Second, I think, like many of the countries, especially Southeast Asian countries, which mandate a year of military service or jury duty can you consider looking at, if not 1 year, at least a few months in one's lifetime where people like us can go, the student community can support and spend time integrating the community, because they're all first generation learners. I mean, you don't have parents who are educated. None of them are educated as, you know, for most parts, right? So it needs that community to come together as well.
Just add on to, before you ask,
Sure.
the thing is, train the trainers model is very important because the kind of a population we have. Let me tell you, the moment actually we put some percentage of a population, it's like workforce, okay, to make it industry ready for that, it's very highly difficult for any institutions or anything, because we have to train the train models. I'll just give an example. See, for example, if you have to train some student community or education institutions community as a large, what I have to do is perhaps I tried that. I wanted to do it in Karnataka government. Engage partners, corporates, and mandate corporate that every corporate should mandate one, there are architect level person who should actually build take up at least 2 sessions in a year to every colleges. Okay, they can train the faculties. The faculties will train faculties and students of the final year degree. They will actually train other students. Okay, and you can create a kind of a portal for that. And government, the moment actually government mandates this, I'm sure that corporates, hand in hand work with academics. Academics actually is kind of a spillover mechanism. Then they can reach out to the masses and create what is the skills level required, which is actually high tech, or maybe in the very fundamentals, or at those who are actually want to be support services. You can navigate those kind of things, and I am feeling that the corporates who are in the, actually if you want to create high tech this one engineers, I think architect levels, which is actually very, very less to find out in the industry. Those communities available, if the corporates come forward to engage with the government and start doing this one, and this can transform in terms of reaching out to those who would want to aspire to be those kind of levels.
Sure, thank you. That was a very different thought process, Jayanti ma'am, which you added. The industry industry need not be specific. What is probably relevant for the communities in the remote areas, like can we create more job opportunities by relevant interventions, whether it is industry or academia or government coming together and creating programs which is more relevant to the remote areas for underserved areas especially, is something which would be relevant. So that's a thought process which you are mentioning. So moving back to the IT and the skill gaps which we were talking about, as a global organization, to both of you, how do you view Tamil Nadu as a talent hub? It's very specific to the state we are in. What are your observations about Tamil Nadu as a talent hub?
I think the reason why I picked up at Chennai or Tamil Nadu to be set up our own GCC talks a lot about that. We did a lot of research before we finalized this particular location on that. One is the availability of the talents there. I think the education system by far is a little better than any of the states here. I was talking to a candidate a couple of days back, and then she's typically somebody from the north, and she had done education in Chennai for last 10 years. And we said that why? Then she said that the education is better here than there. So I think it's already established fact that we will have a good education systems in Tamil Nadu. We'll also have a good talent coming in. But what we also seeing now is that we may need to expand it beyond metros, for Chennai and kind of thing. So it needs to be a tier 2, tier 3. I think again, to reiterate my point earlier, we need people who's not a fly-by-night operators, come join, experiment 6 months with this organization, I don't like the job, let me go. That is a little more higher in some of, for example, Chennai city. But if you give an opportunity for somebody from a down south or tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, they want to prove themselves. That is where we want to leverage on, and that's where we want to give them more kind of inputs on that. And I think the talent, they're very, very eager, very hungry to make a mark. Only thing that we have to tweak is how do we mold them before they come and join us. Again, that's very critical from an
part of in every organization that we need to do, whoever hires from colleges. So it is not that, we go to a college, we pick up people, they do the job day one. It's not going to be that like that. These are typical people who are 4 years theoretical knowledge, who are just transforming into a corporate life, from a college to a corporate life. Very difficult to manage for 6 months, because college you have lots of fun, but again, corporate is not like that. It's a fun in corporate, but then you have to also work along with the fun as well. So the transition to move from a college life to a corporate life, that's something that we need to handhold people on. But I think if we as a corporate take responsibility to ensure that whom we picked up, because we don't pick, by seeing 10 people, we don't pick 8 people. To pick up those 50, 60 people, we could have seen some 600, 800 people. They could have gone to different assessments, then we picked up. The responsibility and accountability is on us to ensure that they are successful. I think that's where whatever the colleges will teach them, whatever the students will learn, we also have equal responsibility to do that. But whatever we're seeing is that talent community in Tamil Nadu is really good. I think we will be expanding it in coming days as well. I think that's where we picked up this location also. So it's no doubt this is a place that a GCC has to be there.
Excellent. That's great news. That's great news.
No, I'll just quickly add that we have a very thriving software development center in Chennai. We've just signed an MOU with the Tamil Nadu government where we've committed to hiring more 1,000 people for niche jobs across 3 years. So we feel really supported, with the current programs from the government, and the skill development programs are also kind of complementing the story. Like Charan said, 20%, I was just reading an article, 20% of the engineering population comes from the state. Great colleges. I feel the one issue that we had earlier around communication is getting better. I also feel there is global sensitivity and cultural orientation a lot more in the talent we pick up in Tamil Nadu, for sure. So those are all the parks, the IT parks and all that, there's space, and the government is reaching out to us to, kind of incentivize companies to come and settle, come and do work here. If there's one thing that I would see for us to get better is definitely, I know with metro and all that's getting better, but infrastructurally and commute, if you come out of the airport, I want my city to be like as green as some of the other cities, model cities, and clean and so on. And so that we can also attract a global community a lot more.
Global talent.
Yeah. And while we are great at fundamental technical, communication is fine. I think leadership, strategic thinking is where I think we tend to invest a lot more. So would request if the government as well as the colleges can really leverage corporates as well. It's a joint kind of complementary action. We're here to support, but that's a few areas that we need to focus on. And of course, a startup community. How do we make it as thriving as some of the other states?
Right, sure.
While we look at for technically these are strong, you also need to understand that when these guys after 5-6 years, the aspiration to get in managerial level. I think that's somewhere we also feel that there's a little bit of a gap. So if this could be also part of a curriculum in terms of because the corporates we do a lot of leadership skill development programs where we bring people in for people experience, and people who are at CXO levels also we send them for leadership learning. So if a government can also invest a little bit on that, and colleges can invest on infusing the curriculum itself about leadership skills, I think that could be really, it's basically a good combination of, there are leaders can be made. It's not that they're born, so you can really make it up, but that's something that we also wanted to see if that could be a little bit of support and help from the government on this particular front.
Sure, thank you. So those,
If the time permits, I will just touch upon. See, government intent is to basically take this industry behind metros. Okay, I must have seen this Digital India program under that very successful scheme, India BPO promotion scheme. In fact, I was one that initiated this kind of a thing to basically create a jobs in tier 2, tier 3 towns. Okay, and let even non-technical persons should be part of the journey of digital journey of India. So with that intent created, and it has been quite successful. We created the intent is to create about 1.5 lakh new jobs. It's not the repetition, new jobs. So that has made a significant progress. And today if you can look at STPS centers, okay, to promote this industry, We are actually emphasizing more about smaller towns. So 57 centers out of 65 centers in the pan-India, we are about in the smaller towns. Coming to the Chennai thing, see, the thing is blessed with, kind of a good infra as compared to Bengaluru, because in terms of, less traffic and things like that. But nevertheless, I think we'll have to take this to the tier 2, like Madurai and all that. And in the recent meeting of ministers, I was actually mentioning that you can make use of Vasuru as one of the gateway for Tamil Nadu. You can attract a pool, a talent pool who are working in the cutting edge technologies, bring to Chennai, and now basically empower this kind of startups in whatever way government can this one, and startups can be encouraged, incentivized to set up their units in smaller towns. This how this can percolate across Tamil Nadu region, and it can prosper, and every individual get benefited out of that.
Thank you. Thank you. Definitely there is a positive impression about Tamil Nadu colleges. In fact, from in my organization also, we get at least contacted by one college in a week, asking us to come and set up technology labs and have the student interaction. So that there is a lot more rigor and approach from the academia is definitely there towards the industry, encouraging us to partner with the colleges. Definitely, therefore, Tamil Nadu is actually pushing themselves as a very approachable talent market, and making it very amiable for the corporates to invest as well. So that actually segue into my next question. Again, to Mahadesha and Shrikant, probably if you can take a stab on it first. What measures have Tamil Nadu government taken, to nurture startups and the entrepreneurs, especially from this younger generation entrepreneurs, basically from educational institutions, or is there any specific programs which are happening?
Okay, two things actually. IIT in ICT Academy is actually established this campus. We have office in IITM Research Park. We have technically gone there only to help the startup community, either for their hiring or helping the students to come to IIT Research Park, do some startup activity. Their ideathon can become the reality. We have technically gone there on a 22-year lease. That's what we are there. So 440 companies are there. There are around 13 centers of excellence are available. So what we have seen in our journey for 3-4 years now, a lot of colleges actually got benefited. One is that the startup community has opened up for them, and some of the colleges have tied up. I'll just give you one example, that Avanashilingam University based out of Coimbatore. A student had come on an industrial visit to the institution, 45 students. They had come, they had met, incidentally they met a Professor Ashok Junjunwala. Most of you know a renowned professor, he was there. They had given one solution for a blind people. What is the solution? That really make into reality. Today that 45 students have started a startup, funded by IIT Madras. Startup, now their turnover is 1.5 crores. Startup with a turnover of 45 lakhs. We have seen into our face-to-face. So this is a bigger intervention. They are in the third floor there. You can actually see that product. They are trying to make it as a patent. It's a very unique product they have done, a sensor-based product. So such is the intervention that we have created. Having we gone there, we are able to do this nurturing of startups or helping the students to start up the journey. And we are also understanding what is the difficulty of a startup there. The main two things is that one is marketing, second is a manpower requirement, talent pool. That we are trying to measure it up and take it up. And the second is, finally, is that there are 13 centers of excellence starting from EV to clean energy to battery energy up to quantum computing, up to 60 test bed. Every department, Government of India, heavy industry, MeitY, telecom, everybody has invested in some 13 to 14 centers of excellence. That center of excellence, they have got an industry academia tie-up. There we are playing a role. DRDO, they have a big establishment there. They have one program called Young Scientist Program. See, technically, as we go there, we are able to understand. One is that we are moving with IIT professors. We are talking about the new technologies, new inventions, new innovations from the startup, one from the IIT side. That is also make our very job easier. As a holistic, as a wholesale requirement, we are able to give it to the academic community at large.
Thank you. Would you like to add on that? And
yeah. So would like to take up, or shall I? Yeah. See, STPI and MeitY, we set up 24 Center of Excellences. We are not calling it Center of Excellence, we are calling it Center of Entrepreneurship. The focus is not only building technology, how do you make entrepreneurship actually journey. So how do you give holistic kind of a support in terms of mentoring support, industry connect support, marketing support, as well as seed funding supports, as well as accelerating term in terms of Series B and C kind of funding accessibility. All that we have 24 center of excellences, each of them actually having very niche areas of domains, like you name it, anything, AI to IoT, cloud security, cyber security, blockchain, to all that technologies. So each one of actually doing very good in terms of creating this one. We created about 1,500 startups. We generated at least, if we can take about 10 into this one, it will become a 15,000 employment has been generated. And let me tell you, most of them actually operating in the smaller towns. Okay, and this government is pushing a lot in terms of creating entrepreneurship ecosystem in the country. And we wanted we government to look forward to create a kind of a products instead of becoming a service-oriented company. Product nation, and IP has been taken one of the leading thing in making sure that every company will be doing innovative jobs and file the patents, and that's how companies can evaluate and prosper in terms of this one. But as far as skilling is concerned, I think there are a lot of skilling requirement is coming up, because one have to look outward. In the moment any student community make sure that fundamentals are very clear in mathematics, fundamentals very clear about the science, and then you can look at, then it comes fingertips in terms of coding. Coding is not at all in a kind of an issue, because the coding comes with the, if we name it AngularJS to whatnot, Ruby to R programming, all that becomes very easy to this one. So skill building, once you make the fundamentals ready, skill, you can pick up the things, and you can, basically excel in that. With the AI coming in, so please be very clear about what is that you want it to be in the AI journey. And it's going to transform, there is no doubt about it, but be this one. And AI tourism also coming up, because talk about like regulation of AI, and testing of AI, risk, and how do you make sure that the tool is going to be assessing that kind of a thing, whether it's biased or not, unbiased, all that. I think so a lot of opportunities in terms of space technologies, things like that. And student community can choose which field wanted to excel. And if you want to become engineers, yes, opportunities are there. But if you want to be excel in our business life, I think entrepreneurship journey is the key element. You would love to learn about, along with the technology, you should learn to know about business as well. Business means you have to, how do you collaborate, communications, all that together. Thank you.
Thank you. In the interest of time, we probably will have to wind up. So unanimously, the panel has agreed that the building the tech ecosystem, the talent ecosystem, is going to be a collective journey of the academia, of the student, of the government, of the community, as well as the businesses, right? So that's what we are all looking for. And for the student community, there is plethora of opportunities available, whether it is government-led opportunities, or organizations are giving such opportunities. ICT, like academies like ICT, is offering such platforms. It is for us to find what is the right platform for us, and leverage that for the betterment, whether it is a student journey of becoming a technologist, or an innovator and becoming a startup and an entrepreneur. That is something which the individual has to choose, right? So we can take one or two questions, if in case somebody is interested to ask any questions to the panel. Yeah, I can see that lady there. Please, go ahead.
Good day to all of you. Before I ask the question, I am Kaushika. I'm a final year studying in Sarita Engineering College right now. This is a question that I would like all of you to answer, but it mostly sprouts from Charan Kumar sir's idea. Like the first 4 years after one college student comes out to industry, the first 4 years we should be agile. That is, we should try to explore all the departments that are there, and then see where we excel in. The question is that would it cause an overload of knowledge which may further bring in confusion? Would that be a bottleneck for freshers, or is there a way to curb that?
Okay. Thank you. That's a nice question. When I say agile, the mindset of the students sometimes when they come out of college is that they are very fixed on one specific domain.
Okay? So what I was trying to tell is that don't have that mindset. Okay? You may be good in AI, for example, but if somebody is given an opportunity to work on something else, explore that also. Maybe using this particular knowledge, you can do well there also. But at the same time, our organization also is going to observe what you're good at, what you're not good at. Right? The moment you maybe down to 2 months, 3 months down the line, when they also see your interest level, they may come back and say, hey, this person we picked up for this particular domain, with this particular skill set, but I think he or she is good in that as well. So why don't we move there? So nowadays organizations are very, very flexible. So as what we want you to be agile, the organization is also agile in ensuring that people, we can move on people as well. For example, in our UPS, we have mapped everybody to a specific skill sets and domain. So we know exactly how many people are in .NET Java, how many people are on full stack, how many people are in Salesforce, and the 40, 50 people whom we picked up from colleges, we also know them, what are they good at, what did we give training from, and where we can move them after 6-7 months. So the agility comes from the fact that, you have to be clear that this is my favorite area to work with, but if somebody is something in life, you don't get what you want sometimes, most of the times.
Definitely.
Okay. So what you get it, you make a master out of it, but at the same time, you can also use that opportunity to go back and tell people that, I'm okay with this, but if there's any opportunity to look out for internal organization, not outside the organization, to say that, can I move to this department? But any early mover is also looked as whether that person is not agile. So you have to be very careful, very balanced when you put across requests to move from one domain to domain. But first 1 year is normally a time where an organization will like to also explore where these people are good at, where these people are not good at. So make use of the 1 year to find whether you fit in or not fit in, and then accordingly make it.
Yes, thank you.
I'd just like to add, sometimes agility from a student community lens is interpreted as, oh, I've been in this team for 1 year, let me get agile and move to the next team. That doesn't work in real life scenario, because we also want you to give back. 1 year you're learning, as he said, right? There's a boot camp, we invest a lot. You have to learn the business. Agility comes in understanding the business, understanding the team that you're part of, going deep, and having some expertise in that area before you think you have to move on. So I would say practice agility in some of these ways versus saying, okay, I need to be a rolling stone and move from one team to the other. That doesn't give you that long-term stability, or will you be seen as somebody who has that expertise in something?
Yes,
So make a cautious choice.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you, panelists. I think we have a time check and we need to wind up our conversation. Thank you very much for each one of you sharing your thoughts, and it was very invigorating for us to revisit some of the oft-repeated conversations or topics. But definitely, when we talk, we get a new idea or a new information which comes through. And hope the discussion was useful for all of you students. And please feel free to reach out. Like, we'll be here for some time. And in case of any queries, they can come back to us off stage. Thank you.
Thank you, Rama, for keeping us together. We've been an enthusiastic panel, but you kind of gravitated all of us pretty well. Thank you.
May I request all of you to please stay back for a few minutes. I'd like to request Ms. Sumiti, Deputy General Manager, ELCOT, to please come on the stage and felicitate all our speakers today. Can we give a huge round of applause, please? First, we have Ms. Rama Devi. In another 5 minutes, we'll have a panel discussion on the topic From Tamil Nadu to Globe, Beyond Borders, Expanding Tamil Nadu's Digital Workforce.